What's up, weirdos? What's going on, guys? All right, let's get this party started. Bitcoin. Well, dropping quite a bit from this morning, eh? Dropping quite a bit from this morning. All right, so when I did our morning market overview this morning over on the Patreon, Bitcoin was well into the green over here, and now once again, just like yesterday, we have completely collapsed down to 111,100 again. We dropped below support, below resistance again at 112,536. It's getting a little bit monotonous at this point. This level has been resistance since August 26th, right? We've rejected off 1, 2, 3, 4 hard rejection to the downside. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days out of all those days we've been testing this resistance level here. We keep chipping away at the sell wall. Eventually we'll break through, but hopefully we don't have another hard rejection like we did here. But I think we will. I think we're going to have another hard rejection, right? I think we're going to reject down hard, retest 108,000, and then we're going to have a double bottom play out here, right? That's what I think is going to happen. So prepare for potential another leg down, right? Yeah, so yesterday we came back down and retested this level here at 110,600. We ended up closing the day above the 100-day moving average, but here we are below it again. So we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens, but let's get into the super chats for the day. Strawberry Dragon, appreciate all you do, Rob. You are my daily dose of crypto. I'm learning so much from you. Rob is the best. Thank you so much, Strawberry Dragon. I appreciate you. Cody dropping that cheddar. Super stickers galore from my guy, my dude, my brother from another month. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you too, man. Okay, that's it for super chats. Let's get into the news, or the chat. Paul, good to see you, buddy. Beebs, my guy. What's up, man? Watching on both channels. Oh, Big C dropping that cheddar. What's going on, my guy? Rob, have you heard anything about buying and transferring crypto being hacked potentially right now? Yeah, we covered that yesterday, Big C. That's basically affecting hardware wallets, right? So basically, until they have the problem kind of figured out, I said yesterday, maybe don't do any transferring or anything on your cold storage devices, basically, right? So, yeah, should have it. I'm sure it will be resolved soon. So. Where are we? Beeves, my dude. Quentin, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Williams in the house. The poster boy of consistency. J Money. Bulbasaur in the house. Commenting on both channels, showing my love. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Strawberry Dragon says, Happy Tuesday, Robin Weirdos. Dave, good morning, man. What's up, man? Keep killing it, brother, man. H. Barbarina in the house. What's going on? Cody, good morning, crypto fam. Guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe on the way in. It's absolutely free to do, and it helps the channel grow. 122 people watching right now. We have 41 likes. Not a bad ratio, but we can hit 100, guys. We can hit 100. Let's do it. King of Ohio, Jake the Snake in the house. Prepare your hearts for Rob's charts. Let's go. Smash the like button. Blessings, Rob. Super fantastic. Absolutely, man. Cody says smash that like button. Cliff says 100 J Money. Absolutely, man. Mario, it's me, Mario. Good morning, Senor Rob and the whole future family. What's up, Motivation Daily? What's up, weirdos? Guess Monday was indeed a liar. Nevertheless, up and down, we're staying with Rob. Like and subscribe. Join the Patreon community. Big C, what's up, man? I can comment on Blueprint, but not on the other channel. Weird, I meant to say. Huh. That's weird. I'm Jack's Active Fanny Pack, says Beebs. Let's effing go. Absolutely, man. Leo, what's up, buddy? Happy Tuesday, crypto fam. Cody's in the house. A guy on my way to work. Hope everyone's having an amazing day. Let's go. Market's kind of dropping right now, guys. It's the crypto future dump effect, right? Ari, good morning. I really want to buy well, as scary as it looks. Hey, that's a great pickup right now. Big C says excited for what is coming. Absolutely. It's always dumpiest before it's pumpiest, guys. David, what's up, buddy? If we get a rate cut, we gonna moon. Absolutely. DH, what's going on, man? Game, good to see you, Game. What's going on? Why the sudden crush? Job revision or manipulation? I just think, honestly, we've been waiting for this dump for a while, right? We're just rejecting hard off of the support resistance level here again of 112,500. However, I will check X and see if there's any news. Let me see if there's any updates over on X. Did something happen? Let me just check here. Give me uno momento. Positive news, Bitcoin strategic reserve news, Ondo and Fidelity news. Job revisions was bullish for crypto. I'm not seeing anything negative. I'm not seeing any derogatory posts on X that could be dropping crypto the way that it is. It seems like it's just another structural breakdown, which I was expecting. So yeah. P Money, what's up, man? Good to see you. Jet Set Therapy, absolutely. Big Kev, what's up, man? Good morning. Any thoughts on SEI on the short term? Looks like it's about to break out. What do you think? Let me have a look, man. Let me have a look. Let me pull it up on my charts. Well, with Bitcoin doing what it's doing right now, it's kind of hard to say. With we're seeing a dump in the market literally as we speak. I mean, you have somewhat of a, if you go by the wicks, you've kind of got a bit of a symmetrical triangle going on here. If I can, hang on. Hang on a second. Just building my triangle. All right. Yeah, you do have a bit of a symmetrical triangle forming here for SEI. I don't know, though, man. I don't think we're going to see a breakout to the upside right now. I don't see it happening. I think we're going to continue to drop down with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's now down to 110,800. Maybe later in the day we might try to make a comeback, but right now I don't think so, man. I don't think we're going to break to the upside right now. Gain, do you think those leverage trading and exchanges are purposely doing this and don't want a full bull market or a 4-year cycle? I don't think it has anything to do with whether they want a 4-year cycle or not. Their motivations, in my opinion, are just strictly based around making money, right? They'll manipulate the markets to make money all day long. Absolutely. So yeah, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to affect whether it's a 4-year cycle or not. They can try, but they will fail. COVID could not stop the 4-year cycle, right? I don't think some longs and shorts are going to do it. Mary, what's going on? We're here back in the States, still pre-rich. Let's go. Again, I can't remember if there were leverage trading on last cycle. Yes, there was a lot of same amount of manipulation in the last cycle. Beeves, I like SEI holding a massive bag. Safe play, in my opinion. I agree. Milk Money, there she is. Gamma Goddess in the house. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's get this money. Angelo, just keep dots average dollar cost averaging Swift. There you go. Will the Clarity Act stop the manipulation? Maybe it might help, right? What I think is going to slow down the manipulation, nothing's going to stop the manipulation, right? The entire TradFi system is run on manipulation, so manipulation is not going to go away from crypto 100%. But what I think is going to cause manipulation to be more cerebral and less happen less often is one of these exchanges needs to be caught red-handed and needs to be severely, used as an example of what's going to happen to crypto exchanges that continue to do this kind of manipulation. I think that's when you'll see it. As soon as we see somebody held accountable in crypto for the market manipulation, used as an example, which I have no doubt will happen, that's when people will stop and they'll say, oh, we can't do that anymore, right? Or we got to be more sneaky when we do it and stuff like that, because it's just blatant right now. It's just blatant, right? Yeah, Binance, 100% gain. Binance for sure. Now, morning, Rob Father. You haven't said anything about Moonwell in a while. Where do you think the price is going by the end of the bull run? My price prediction on Moonwell, I've given it plenty of times. So yeah, and my targets haven't changed on Moonwell. The targets have not changed on Moonwell. I am mega bullish on Moonwell. I could see $1, $1.50, $2, no problem. Okay, let's move on to some of the news. See what's going on out there, guys. We're all caught up in the chat. Okay, let's get it going here. We got a lot of content to make today, guys. Quick shout out to the channel sponsor, Decent Biometric Wallet. Keep your crypto safe. Keep it off of exchanges, guys, in your own self-custody, not your keys, not your coins. You can swap, take profits, and even stake your crypto right on your Decent wallet. Use our link down below. Get a 2-for-1 deal on the Biometric Wallet today. Check it out, guys. Check it out. Okay. Where are we starting here? Let's start here. Andrew, what's up, man? Thoughts on market reaction to the upcoming FOMC meeting? I don't think we've really seen a reaction one way or the other. I keep hearing people say that a rate cut is priced in. When? Where? When did that happen? I don't remember seeing the market pump for weeks on end pricing in a rate cut. We saw a bit of a pump and then we saw a dump, and it's been dumpy ever since. So for me, markets have not priced in a rate cut. Rob, do you think the tariffs will be stopped? And if do you think the tariffs will be stopped? And if we get just a 25 basis point cut, will the markets move up? It's not about a 25 basis point cut, guys. That's not what's going to pump the market. What's going to pump the market is Powell's tone in his speech after he announces a 25 basis point rate cut. My guess is we're going to see a neutral stance for October and then probably another cut in November. So if he's neutral and he implies there's going to be a pause through October, then the markets are not going to dump, but they're not going to pump either, right? If he implies that there's going to be another rate cut in October, well, then markets are going to respond extremely bullishly, yes. So as we start to price in another rate cut. So yeah, that's kind of, but I think what's going to, there's like three options here, right? And I mean, the first option is a cut in September. The least likely option is a cut in September and then no cuts for the rest of the year. That's the least likely option. Apparently right now, in terms of odds on Polymarket, the most likely option is that he cuts rates all 4 months, September, October, November, and December. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we see a rate cut in September, a pause in October, and another cut in November. That's what and as for December, I have no idea at this point. A 50 basis point cut is not going to crush the market. I understand what people are saying about how that might seem like an overreaction. However, and people might panic. However, people that are saying that are not taking into consideration the fact that the jobs numbers have come in as bad as they have, and they came in even worse today, right? That screams we need more rate cuts, right? So because of the news of the jobs reports, it justifies bigger rate cuts, right? So, but people who say that kind of stuff, they how do I word this? They don't recognize certain facts and circumstances around the scenario to try to shill out a bearish case scenario so people will be scared and watch their content, right? So like they'll take one valid piece of information, like, I don't know, the jobs numbers, which validate a 50 basis point cut, and they'll just kick that aside and pretend it doesn't exist and say, 50 basis point cut is not justified, and markets are going to get crushed, right? So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that too much. I think it's the opposite. Markets will go flying to the upside. So yeah. All right, Trump suggests 100 basis point BPS Fed rate cut. Donald Trump advocates for 100 basis point rate cut by the Federal Reserve before September's FOMC meeting, citing macro strategies Greg Farnallo's analysis. Trump's proposal contrasts with Fed Reserve's likely 25 basis point cut, potentially impacting U.S. equities and crypto markets if significant monetary easing occurs. I think what Trump's trying to do here is get a 50 basis point rate cut. That's what I think he's trying to do. He knows that Powell's probably only going to cut by 25, but if he pushes hard for 100, he might get 50, right? Always ask for more than you want so that you settle on where you actually want to be, right? Negotiating 101. Donald Trump has urged a 100 basis point cut by the Federal Reserve. This move comes ahead of the FOMC meeting, with Trump's stance relying on macro strategies. The commentary for support such a significant cut seems improbable. Greg is cited by Trump, though official remarks are yet to be seen. Federal Reserve members include Christopher Waller, and my phone's ringing, so I gotta decline the call. Swipe left, sucker. Are inclined towards a modest 25 basis point cut, aligning with existing economic signals and data-driven policy frameworks. A dramatic rate cut, as advocated, may affect industry sectors like tech. Historically, lower rates attract risk assets, benefiting markets like crypto. However, immediate effects hinge on the actual Federal Reserve's decision post-meeting. Finally, a rate cut could spur shifts towards cryptocurrency investments. Positively, politically, Trump's proposal underscores potential dialogue on monetary strategies. This discussion elicits varied industry outlooks dependent on the forthcoming Fed decision. Recent Federal Reserve actions are crucial for market responses, contrasting Trump's aggressive call. The Fed's plans a cautious 25 basis point cut, as confirmed by indicators. The alignment of monetary policies impacts future liquidity and growth trajectories. Historical data indicates substantial rate adjustments generally result in market rallies. Crypto markets, which are sensitive to interest rate changes, often see increased activity following dovish fiscal policies. This phenomenon was notably observed during earlier's Fed pivot. In this regarding, Donald Trump's former president of the United States calls for a 100 basis point cut ahead of the upcoming September meeting. He says, I believe the Fed should act aggressively to cut rates to stimulate the economy. We'll see what happens, guys. I think 25 basis point, I don't think it's really a question, to be honest with you. No, Beebs, I don't see it hitting $1.50, brother. I don't see it hitting H-bar, seeing it hit hitting $1.50. $1.25 maybe, I think you're correct, but Wall Street is a bunch of babies. Yeah, you're right. Gold surging is central banks front-running Fed rate cuts. Remember, retail still isn't in gold, silver, or Bitcoin. Euphoria isn't here yet. Normies probably won't flood into our space until after the rate cuts. Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. All right, let's keep it moving along here, guys. We got some Ethereum outflows. Market's having a bit of a dumpy dump, so I am going to do some shopping. Ethereum's ETF faced $1 billion in outflows amid market shifts. Crypto JPEG, your message never got deleted. It never popped up. I'm seeing 0 deleted messages. My message got deleted. Still unsafe to say. Yeah, I would still abstain for a little bit longer. Also, what about sending to our BTC swing trading? What about? Oh, that's different thing. That's an exchange. That's not a hardware wallet. The attack is on transfers and stuff for hardware wallets. Spot Ethereum ETFs, including BlackRock, Grayscale, and Fidelity, saw $1 billion in outflows over 6 days in September amid fading U.S. rate cut optimism. The outflow indicates market uncertainty, potentially leading to a shift in institutional investments and affecting broader crypto market sentiment. In earlier September 2025, spot Ethereum ETFs experienced over $1 billion in outflows across 6 days. The outflows were driven by reduced U.S. rate cut optimism and macroeconomic concerns. ETFs are democratizing access to digital assets. Major ETFs by BlackRock, Grayscale, and Fidelity saw substantial withdrawals. BlackRock's ETHA led with 192.7 million in one day, and Grayscale's ETHE followed with 309.9 million in outflows. The ETF outflows indicate a shift in investor sentiment, potentially towards Bitcoin, as indicated by concurrent BTC ETF inflows of $330 million. So money's flowing out of Ethereum ETFs and into Bitcoin ETFs. Financial analysts note market apprehensions. Institutional investors are reallocating funds due to the macro uncertainties. Historical comparisons suggest this ETF outflow cycle could influence future institutional market strategies and risk assessments. Earlier in 2025, spot Ethereum ETFs surged with 3.87 billion influx, pointing to a rapid sentiment change based on macroeconomic trends. Historical fund flows have shown similar patterns, with declines influenced by market outlook shifts. Experts highlight the ETF bazillion of crypto as introduced both opportunities and risks. So there is a lot of speculation about Ethereum having a little bit of a dip before it makes its next leg up, which I do see happening. Maybe that's why we're seeing a bit of money flowing out of the ETFs for now, but who knows? Who knows? All right, let's segue over to Squawk Box. What's happening over there today, guys? Volatility may be in store this month into next month, says Fairlead's Katie Stockton.
Take a look at the latest technical signals in the market. Joining us now is Katie Stockton, Fairlead Strategies founder and managing partner and a CNBC contributor. What's your number on the S&P gain since Liberation Day? It's like 30%, isn't it, from the lows, Katie?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And now we're up about 11% on the year all in. We still have the support of the rising 20-day moving average, which has been our way to eliminate all the noise. These 3-day pullbacks, they just tend to refresh the uptrends. We want to respect that.
It seems like, where does that, so we're up, obviously, now from levels that we're at the beginning of the year, but it still seems like there's some overhead resistance. It hasn't been near the first, I don't know, that's probably not a shock. The first 30% were easy. Now it seems like we're struggling more. Is it going to get any easier, or should we expect backing and filling for 6 months?
Yeah, I think it's already gotten harder for investors with the mega caps having lost their leadership stronghold, is the way I would put it. So we have seen a shift in relative performance on the sector level, especially hitting tech to, not a huge degree, but enough to suggest that we have a little bit of a different tape unfolding here. As of, I'd say, the beginning of August, we saw some consolidation unfold, pullbacks in some of the heavyweights like NVIDIA and Microsoft. The market's weathered that really remarkably well. So we want to respect the breadth that is there right now, but we also want to be mindful of seasonal influences. And if we do see a downturn in the 20-day moving average, we want to hedge through that. The VIX has already sort of perked up from its lows, peaking above its 50-day moving average. And that tells us that volatility may be in store this month into next month. And that's very normal for the market. And I think investors would be welcoming of that, because we just haven't seen those substantial pullbacks to make us feel like we're getting a decent entry point.
So what do you think gold is trying to tell us? And can we figure out anything about the bond market or the stock market from gold?
Well, gold, the big breakout is really impressive and saw immediate upside follow through. That was through a sort of a range resistance level. And it's a great diversifier in a portfolio. So not only is it posting strong gains, but it provides a lack of correlation perhaps at times from the S&P 500, which you could argue that a lot of people are probably carrying some concentration risk in their portfolios these days. So we like gold, we like the breakout. The breakout does allow for an upside objective, about 4% above current levels. It was more impressive a few weeks ago, but we'll take it, and we want to just sort of ride that uptrend. For yields, it's been pretty interesting of late. We did see a breakdown below that 4.2 support that we talked about last time, and now testing 4% area, which is essentially the lower boundary of this long-term triangle formation. You can see it if you drop back to the early 23 low. And if that level's taken out, well, then a cyclical downtrend in yield has taken hold officially in our work. And you could get a downside objective of about 3.2%. So
wow.
It would be a pretty big deal if we see a breakdown below that 4% area in our work, just strictly from a technical perspective.
Is the bond market just march to its own tune? The vigilantes are sleeping. They're going to sleep forever. We saw a little steepening, but it's still staggering the amount of debt that we keep layering on. And how are we going to 3.2? How are we? Dollar's still strong enough to where all capital still flows to the U.S. into DC?
Well, the dollar has seen some firmness of late, but there is a cyclical downtrend there as well.
Right.
If you go way, way back, there's a secular uptrend.
Right.
And you're referencing the dollar index. That uptrend lies right around 96.7. So I think that's a key level for the dollar. If we see that taken out, then we can expect a greater weakening trend or this cyclical downtrend to extend itself. So that's what we're watching in terms of support. But again, we do think that there is, sort of a reasonable need for fixed income in portfolios right now. Not a huge position in it, but we do see some relative strength shifting for treasuries relative to equities. And that would be also the case in certain commodities. So we're all about diversification.
I guess, your eyes glaze over when I try and get you to talk about fundamentals. Why is gold, breaking out with obviously, I don't know, the printing presses are going to start printing again. Why is that happening as yields fall?
It is remarkable, and I can't answer the why question from the charts, of course. We've seen the gold mining stocks, they're the best performer year to date within the S&P 500. It's just astounding. So for us, we just see it as momentum. Perhaps people are seeing gold more, sort of closely to a Bitcoin proxy. Bitcoin, as you know, has been quite strong. It's digesting its gains in a consolidation phase, but we saw a big breakout in Bitcoin within the context of its long-term uptrend. So we're just seeing this consolidation there as healthy. So maybe it's being treated more along those lines. We can't be sure, but we do want to be honoring the momentum that's behind it. Well,
September and October are not playing out like we thought. I guess there's still time. But what is Bitcoin most correlated? Well, you said gold might be correlated with Bitcoin. That's kind of funny. It's been around for 4,000 years. Seems like it would be the other way around. But what is Bitcoin correlated to? The NASDAQ or
it depends on when you look at it, right? So over time, it's been more historically correlated to the NASDAQ 100 than anything else that we've referenced. And yet that correlation does break up. We're not ones to typically rely on these historical correlations, but rather adhere to the momentum gauges and adhere to them over different time frames. So for Bitcoin, long-term upside momentum is still there, but the short-term momentum is more neutral. So we just respect that. And for those that are looking for an entry into Bitcoin, we would just say, wait for more support discovery. The support's between about 108 and 111,000. So it's not too far below current levels. And the last breakout that we saw there arrived at a measured move objective of about 135,000. So that would be pretty impressive upside from here.
Tom Lee was with us yesterday, and he said Bitcoin could double by the end of the year. Katie?
200,000 was his number.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty aggressive upside objective. I don't know if I can get there in my work. With the breakout, the best we can get to is 135. And the relevance would be probably more for early 2026. These are not precise objectives, of course. These are just sort of assuming the trajectory of the uptrend. So the uptrend would have to seep in, as you know, a whole lot to get us to 200. But the fact of the matter is that, the long-term uptrend is behind Bitcoin, and we have great action in some of the altcoins. If you look even at Dogecoin, we saw a triangle breakout yesterday. So we do have some action there from a technical perspective. Ether broke out above 4,000. That was a big breakout for it. So the whole complex is interesting, we feel, from a technical perspective, and it's just a matter of timing those entries.
They figure 135K Bitcoin, which is usually what I've been calling for. 150 to 180 is my top, but like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if you told me 135 was the top. Amazing Coins, good morning, Rob and Crypto Weirdos. Been gone a minute. Yes, good to see you back. I was gonna say, man, I haven't seen you in a while. Penny Packer, Swift, probably Swift. Cody says, smash the like button. So yeah, guys, I've been thinking about it all morning, and starting tomorrow, we're going to go back to the 1 p.m. and the 8 p.m. live streams every day. We're not going to be doing the 9:30 a.m. live streams every day anymore, because everything since we started doing it, all engagement on the live streams has completely dried up. The likes, the comments, the chats dried up, the super chats, everything has completely dried up in terms of engagement for the most part. So that's telling me through the algorithm that I should not be doing a 9:30 in the morning live stream. So I'm going to switch back to the 1 p.m. Central and 8 p.m. Central starting tomorrow. So yeah, that's going to be that, just so you guys know. Okay, let's keep it going. Lily likes the 8 p.m. slot. Perfect. From Bitcoin to altcoins, market signals point to massive rotation and growth. The altcoin market is flashing signals of a powerful breakout cycle as Bitcoin dominance weakens. Historical accumulation trends and coming macro shifts suggest a strong rally may be building ahead. Stock Money Lizards highlights the others BTC chart that altcoins remain historically undervalued compared to Bitcoin. The chart highlights repeated phases of accumulation and expansion since 2015, marked by double bottoms and rising lows. Each of these phases has sparked a strong cycle, including the parabolic altcoin surge in 2017 and the powerful bull run in 2021. During the 2022-2023, the markets carved another double bottom while maintaining higher lows. By 2024, a fresh reaccumulation phase appeared, resembling past setups that preceded sharp rallies. This structure points to a mid and small cap coin preparing for crucial growth stages backed by bullish momentum, divergences, and steady capital rotations. Bitcoin dominance points to a shift which measures Bitcoin dominance, which measures BTC's share of total crypto market cap, has now broken below both its rising trend lines and the vital support band around 59.5 to 60%. This breakdown reflects a structural change. Each decline in dominance in the past has coincided with Ethereum and other altcoins taking the lead. Ethereum's ETH BTC chart confirms this trend. For nearly 2 years, Ethereum has remained capped under long-term descending trend line. Over recent weeks, Ethereum's rallied strongly and retested that resistance. A breakout here would signal ETH's growing strength against Bitcoin and potentially fast-track the next altcoin rally. Global conditions are reinforcing these technical signals. CME FedWatch tool data shows a 89% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut at the September 17th FOMC meeting. I think it's actually up to 100% now. and an 11% chance of a deeper 50 basis point cut. And I think that's actually up to like 40% now or something. An easing of monetary policy would inject liquidity into risk assets, giving cryptocurrencies an added boost. With Bitcoin dominance losing ground and Ethereum testing breakout levels, historical cycles signal the next big altcoin rally. Backed by liquidity shifts and repeated reaccumulation setups, the stage is set for a potentially explosive phase in the months ahead. Let's frickin' go, baby. Right, let's keep it going. Actually, what I want to do here first is I want to go have a look at the Bitcoin dominance and stuff. Would PPI and CPI cause a spanner, or that's just dusted? No, they still matter. They're still extremely relevant. Rob Ether had a big move yesterday. Not surprised of a pullback today. I was reading up on Ether and found that they make 30x more revenue than Render. Wow, I did not know that. I did not know that. So the total 2 is trying to break out of this symmetrical triangle that it's in right now. Trying. Let's go have a look at the Bitcoin dominance. What's happening over there? Making its leg down back towards the support level. We got a break below 57.93 is their support level that we need to collapse down below on the Bitcoin dominance. We haven't looked at in a while. I know it's not really as correlated right now. We haven't looked at the M2 in a while. Look at the M2. It's just been like sitting at a resistance level here, right? Like you've got this. It seems to have. It seems to be struggling breaking that trend line. Once it breaks that trend line, though, guys, it's going to be juicy. It's going to be a nice, juicy move, in my opinion. But yeah, Bitcoin has decorrelated here significantly from it. But it's an 80% correlation, guys. As you know, it's not 100% correlation. As you can see in the past, if we go back in history, let me just move that up, right? If you go back in history, you see other decorrelations, minor ones. Let me continue pulling this up. Right, as you can see, we had a big pump here when the M2 dumped. Same thing here, Bitcoin pumped while the M2 dumped here. So you have minor, but they always recorrelate though, right? So yeah, don't be surprised to see the recorrelation happen soon, which would be Bitcoin making its move back up. So, all right. ARK Invest expands 4.4 million in Bitmine holdings after Ethereum's milestone. Cathie Wood's investment firm purchased over 100,000 Bitmine shares across 3 funds as the treasury company reached 2 million Ethereum in holdings. ARK Invest acquired 101,950,000 Bitmine Emerson Technology shares worth approximately $4.4 million on Monday. The purchase was distributed among 3 exchange-traded funds, with ARK Innovation ETF now maintaining a 2.6% allocation to Bitmine stock. The investment came on the same day Bitmine announced it crossed 2 million Ethereum. 2 million Ethereum in total holdings, valued at roughly $8.9 billion. This milestone represents 1.7% of Ethereum's entire supply, making Bitmine the world's largest corporate Ethereum holder. A little bit of perspective for you guys. For anyone who's out there right now, and you've got, let's say, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 grand in the market, and you're on the edge, you're like, I don't know if this is a good idea, I don't know. You have 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 grand in the market. Bitmine what did they put in? What did they have? $8.9 billion, right? Think about that on scale for a second, right? They're that confident that this is going to go up, that they're putting almost $9 billion into it. And you're worried about whether you made the right decision because you put anywhere between 5 to 20 grand in the market. Come on, right? Put your pennies where they put their dollars and be confident in your decisions. Not financial advice. You do you. Bitmine shares surged 4.1% to $44.10 in after-hours trading following the announcement. The stock has delivered remarkable returns this year, gaining 460% since January as the company executed its aggressive Ethereum accumulation strategy. Tom Lee, chair of Bitmine, has collected 42% of the corporate-held Ethereum globally, totaling 4.9 million across various companies. The rapid accumulation occurred over just 5 months since the company began building its treasury position in April. ARK, 3 funds, now collectively hold 6.7 million Bitmine shares, valued at $284 million total. Wood's investment strategy has consistently increased exposure to the blockchain company as it expands its Ethereum treasury operations. So not only is Tom Lee and Bitmine that convicted in the future of crypto, but Cathie Wood and ARK Invest is also showing you that same level of conviction, backing the company by accumulating as much of their stock as she can, because she saw what happened with MicroStrategy stock, right? So the buying momentum appears to continue, with Bitmine targeting 5% of Ethereum's total holdings. I think they hold like 1.5% right now. Currently, the company sits at 34% of this ambitious goal, suggesting significant future purchases ahead. Chairman Tom Lee expressed confidence in Ethereum's long-term prospects during recent comments. Quote, "We continue to believe Ethereum is one of the biggest macro trades over the next 10 to 15 years. Meanwhile, Federal Reserve rate cuts expectations provide additional market optimism. Futures markets indicate an 89.4% probability of a 25 basis point reduction, with Lee highlighting potential benefits for crypto and small cap equities from lower interest rates." Absolutely. Can I get an amen to that? 100%. Let's go back over to Bitcoin's chart. All right, so what do we got? Beebs, good point. John, blessings, John. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. All right, guys. Well, listen, that's the news as it sits right now. Bitcoin continuing its little bit of downward pressure. Seems to be holding support, though, right at 111,117. Significant level. That's where yesterday's candle started. So we'll see what happens, guys. But I think, we almost retested this support here at 110,600. But I don't think we're getting over. Resistance here, guys, at 112,500. Another daily rejection off of there. Phil, Rob, what's your latest outlook on Sui AI, and where do you buy it? I was buying it over on BitTrue, but yeah, I still hold mine. I'm still just as, it's a flyer play, right? The potential ROI, the risk to reward on a play like that is just far too good to pass up. I mean, I wouldn't make it one of my top 5 bags, but I mean, to not have a little bit of skin in the game for a project like that is just a big mistake, in my opinion. Like I said, the risk to reward's just far too good. Candyman, what's up, man? If you're sitting in public and a stranger takes a seat next to you, just stare straight ahead and say, "Did you bring the money?" Nice. My guy, Candyman. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. So, yeah, so what we're looking for, guys, here, we have to get above this level here, 112,500. We have to get above there. We have to close above there, right? Until then, we're just putting in lower highs. We're still in a downward structure, downward trajectory, and it's going to continue that way until we put in a higher high, right? So got to get above this, 112,536, and then we got to get above the 30-day SMA, which is currently sitting at $113,446. So we got a lot of climbing to do here, guys, but I don't think our downward pressure's done. Like I said, I think we're coming down. I think we're going to come down and retest 108, put in a double bottom, and then take off. That's what I think we're going to do. And that drop down is going to scare a lot of people. When we have this drop down, we're going to see a lot of whining, a lot of crying, and a lot of complaining from people, right? A lot of frustration. Even though I'm telling you ahead of time that it's coming, maybe save some dry powder for it. People will still pretend that they are being caught off guard, right? So I like to give you guys a heads up to let you know what's coming, or the potential of what's coming anyways, and hopefully you guys listen and you prepare for it, right? Stay ready so you don't got to get ready, right? That's what we do. All right, guys, listen, if you're looking into trading, you want to make income while the market is red, when the market's dumping and stuff, we have been crushing it. I closed another trade this morning over on the Patreon in our trading group. Another successful trade, guys. We've been knocking it out of the park. Yesterday, we closed 2 of them up. We are just crushing it, guys. Join the trading group today over on the Swing Trade tier on the Patreon. You can also book one-on-one coaching calls. I've also been putting together training courses, guys, on how to do proper research in crypto, how to do research, how to find micro-cap gems and stuff, how to vet companies. There's a course over there on that I'm putting together. I'm putting together a course on technical analysis training. And the best part about it is all of these courses are free as a Patreon member. So jump aboard and you get access to all that stuff. You get one-on-one coaching calls, group coaching calls. We're live every day, educational content, training courses, microcap gems, trading groups, and so much more, guys, for less than the price of a cup of coffee. Are you kidding me right now? Check it out. The link is down below. It's in the pinned comments. It's in the chat, guys. It's everywhere you want to be. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.